Hello there, good evening folks. Well, we've seen the rain clouds gather from the west through the second half of today, especially all courtesy of a cold front. But ahead of that cold front, we had the last vestiges of the humidity and the warmth in the east, with some occasional hazy sunshine lifting the temperatures to 22 for parts of the east and northeast. But the rain clouds have been gathering in the west and intensifying and pushing inland, and that's going to lead to a very wet evening out there as that rain increasingly heavy as it works its way eastwards, with some torrential downpours in parts of the east and northeast. Some late brightness for the Hebrides, and that's the clearer, fresher Atlantic air which will follow that front in from the west, with the heavy rains becoming confined by the end of the night to the far northeast and then later Shetland, where it will linger into tomorrow morning before clearing, and then we'll all be in the fresher Atlantic air mass from a westerly direction, a westerly breeze, bringing variable amounts of clouds, some sunny spells. The sunny spells best in the morning before cloud layers tend to thicken from the west, with some showers feeding in twos. So into the afternoon we'll see generally a veil of cloud across much of the country. Temperatures around the mid to high teens and a feed of showers, most frequent in the west, but the odd one could creep further east too into Aberdeenshire into the afternoon, where it could locally still hit 20 degrees Celsius. The best of the sunny spells in the afternoon will be in the far north and the Northern Isles. Into tomorrow night we'll see the arrival of some rain in from the southwest, courtesy of this low pressure which will be overhead on Monday, bringing some outbreaks of rain from the Southern Highlands southwards, some of that heavy but tending to break up into showers through the course of the day, and with some instability, perhaps some thundery downpours in parts of central, eastern and southeastern Scotland. Best of the conditions on Monday will be in the far north, the Northern Isles and the Western Isles, but suppressed cool temperatures wherever you are. Then following that low will be a ridge of high pressure on Tuesday, which will afford a fine day with spells of sunshine, and that will cling on even into Wednesday for many of us, some sunshine before rain-bearing clouds arrive from the west overnight and into Thursday. That's you up to date on the weather front.
Hello. For most of us, the weather's pleasant enough today. A little cloudy in some areas, but wherever you are, the chances are that there will be at least some sunshine today. And so far, the best of the sun's been across northern and eastern parts of the country. If you look at the satellite picture, earlier clearer skies in eastern Scotland, also around Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. But even here, clouds have been developing through the course of the day. So what have we got? A gentle breeze blowing out of the southwest, pushing in some thicker cloud across Ireland. That might mean some rain for Belfast this evening and overnight, but elsewhere it's a case of sunnier moments, cloudier moments, the odd shower, and temperatures pleasant enough, high teens, low 20s. Now here's that small weather system that will be moving through Ireland and into the Irish Sea, and eventually it'll end up around northern England and southern Scotland, also affecting parts of Wales. So damp weather early in the morning. It's relatively mild, 15 in London, a little bit colder there in the north of Scotland, perhaps single figures. So tomorrow it's fairly cloudy and damp, at least for a time, in parts of Scotland. Elsewhere it's a day of prolonged spells of sunshine, occasional showers and actually quite brisk winds. So if you're in the south and the southwest, those winds will be quite gusty, particularly close to the coast, and the temperatures around the low to perhaps mid-20s. Now that small area of low pressure and its weather front moves to the east, and we see this bump in the high pressure. This is what's called a ridge of high pressure, so where the air is generally sinking, and what we typically find is fair weather clouds, just the odd shower on the edge, but for the bulk of the UK, a fine day. The temperatures could be a little bit high. We might even reach 25 degrees on Tuesday. So let's have a look at the outlook then, because it does look as though, at least the computer models are pointing to high pressure becoming more dominant towards the end of the month. And when we see high pressure during the summer months, that means much warmer, drier weather. And in fact, if we scan our apps and you look at the forecast even beyond this coming weekend, you should be able to see those fair weather symbols and perhaps those temperatures starting to creep up. So perhaps a sign things are settling down. Bye-bye. Hello, Tomasz Szafenaker here with your latest weather update for Europe. Let's have a look at the satellite picture. A lot of sunshine and heat across the Mediterranean, but take a look at this area of storm clouds moving through France, the Alpine region, eventually into Germany, all linked to a weather front that's also affecting parts of Scandinavia. This is fresher Atlantic air spreading in across western parts of Europe. It's basically pushing the heat towards eastern areas there from Poland into Ukraine, and that's the boundary that separates the heat from the cooler Atlantic air. Let's have a look at the Mediterranean. Lots of sunshine here, some thunderstorms developing during the day on Monday, and many areas, many major centres seeing temperatures in excess of 30 Celsius. In fact, in the coming days, we'll see these temperatures rising even further across southern and central parts of Spain. Here's the UK, modest values, 23 in London, a little bit warmer in Paris, but further east in Warsaw, about 32. And again, these are storms. Some of them will produce big downpours with thunder and lightning, frequent hail as well. And the temperatures across the continent on Tuesday, very hot there in Madrid, 38 degrees Celsius. And it will remain on the hot side for the days ahead. In fact, excruciatingly hot by the time we get to midweek, 40 degrees Celsius. Not quite so hot in Rome, but hot enough. And in Athens, similar values, upper 30s, I think, for most of the week. Thanks for watching. Hello, thanks for joining me. Let's get a check on the weather across Africa first, and the satellite picture shows the storms along this intertropical convergence zone. The storms have been particularly heavy around western parts of tropical Africa, where the West African monsoon is really quite active, but across this part of the continent. So yes, we're seeing showers breaking out, but here the rainfall is generally below the average, subdued rainfall patterns, and as a result the temperatures are somewhat higher as well. But they're especially high also around Morocco. Temperatures have been in excess of 40 Celsius close to the coast, and we'll see elevated values in Marrakesh, even as high as 46 degrees by the time we get to Wednesday, so way above normal across this part of the world. Now elsewhere in Casablanca, still quite hot as well, bearing in mind it's quite close to the coast, in excess of 30 Celsius there on Wednesday. Now let's take a look at the satellite image across the Arabian Peninsula. That's the southwesterly monsoon in the Arabian Sea. That southwesterly wind affecting the coastal areas there of Oman. So temperatures a little lower there, not even making 30 degrees, but of course further inland where we have all of that heat, well into the 40s and pushing 50 degrees Celsius. So it's still a very hot time of the year with bone dry conditions and sunny skies for most major centres. Bye-bye. Hello, thanks for joining me. The monsoon is going to stay very active over the coming days. Further heavy rain to come across many western parts of India, but particularly central areas now. That's where we're going to see these big downpours developing. But in recent days, around the coast of Gujarat, we've seen 200 to even 400 millimetres of rain, and most of that in a short space of time. So that just gives an indication of how very active, how very unstable the area is with this southwesterly monsoon. But notice the bright colours here, close to Nagpur, generally south of New Delhi. This is where we'll see that focal point for the big downpours, and that of course means more flash floods. Now let's take a look at the forecast further north across central parts of Asia. It's started pretty quiet there, 28 Celsius with some sunshine. Hot day ahead there for Tashkent, high 30s. Kabul will be around the mid 30s, and then we have these big storm clouds linked to that southwesterly monsoon. Not too many storms further south across India. There will be some thunder showers here and there, but it's generally much drier across Sri Lanka and also the other side of the peninsula there in Chennai. And again, the big downpours here in the north and plenty of them around Bangladesh, also the other side of the Bay of Bengal. So Mumbai, lots of clouds, temperatures typically in the high 20s, and big downpours coming in waves on and off in the coming days. And then there's Chennai, somewhat dry, but occasional showers popping off here as well. Bye-bye. Hello. Well, let's see what's happening on the weather front down under first. And a weather front sweeping into WA here. You can see it on the forecast for Monday. That means cloud, wind and rain, particularly southern areas here. That weather system is also affecting the other side of Australia. It's been very windy around the coasts of Victoria, parts of New South Wales, especially Tasmania too. So more of that to come through Monday. The other side of the Tasman, pretty overcast and rainy in places as well. You can see the North Island there shrouded with clouds, some showers. This low pressure spinning around very close to the South Island. Now here's a look at the forecast then. So Perth, quite unsettled in the days ahead with that cool air, often cloudy and showers can be expected. Over to Asia Pacific, 2 areas of disturbed weather. Tropical depression here moving northwards into China, but this one very close to the Philippines, developing into a typhoon over the next few days. It's accelerating northwards. It'll come very close to Taiwan eventually, probably passing just to the north, but delivering tropical storm conditions. And then eventually later on in the week, making a landfall probably to the south of Shanghai. But the track of this typhoon, once it develops into one, will be still some uncertainty there. The rest of the region, lots of showers there around Southeast Asia. Let's take a look at some city forecasts. Manila, pretty stormy over the next few days. Temperatures generally just shy of 30. Bye-bye. Hello, thanks for joining me. We have both heat and also plenty of rain in the forecast for North America. The storms have been breaking out recently quite widely across the Rockies, especially the southern Rockies, the plains, the deep south, and also around the eastern seaboard, and further heavy showers to come. But at the same time, we have dry and hot conditions from California, the Pacific Northwest, and also into many western parts of Canada, from British Columbia into Alberta, southern areas of Alberta, especially hot in the coming days. Temperatures here around 40 degrees Celsius. So let's have a look at the forecast then. West of the Rockies, here's Monday. Yes, a few showers there across British Columbia, but further towards the east it's dry. Scattered showers across the Rockies and into the desert region, but some of these will be big downpours. Let's have a look at the city forecasts. Blazing sunshine there for LA, typically in the mid-80s. In Las Vegas, as you'd expect, triple-digit heat. And again, a lot of sun. Now here's the eastern seaboard, so cloud and rain from the mid-Atlantic northwards into New York State. Heavy showers through Tennessee into the Mississippi as well. And quite a few storms also breaking out across central and southern parts of Florida, and to the north of the Bahamas, also quite stormy. So the outlook then, plenty of rain clouds in the forecast for Nashville and also for Orlando. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. Hello, thanks for joining me. Let's see what's happening on the weather front across South America. And many parts of the continent seeing dry weather. This is the forecast Sunday night into Monday. High pressure here in charge of things across Argentina into Paraguay. Plenty of sunny skies across the bulk of Brazil. But further north, that's where we have the heavy showers. They are generally to the north of the Amazon basin. So from the Atlantic coast into southern parts of Venezuela, that's where we'll see the heaviest storms, and also some scattered across parts of Colombia and just about into northern Peru. But other than that, look at all of that sunshine from Brasilia all the way down to the coast in Rio and Sao Paulo. Fine weather for Buenos Aires, but here in the southern tip of the continent, of course, the colder, rainier conditions. So in Buenos Aires, it's looking fine in the coming days, just the odd shower. Santiago, similar conditions. Okay, let's see what's happening across the tropics for the north now. Lots of storm clouds breaking out across many parts of Mexico, central areas into Guatemala, Yucatan, Honduras, Nicaragua, and further south into Panama. And 1 or 2 scattered showers across the Caribbean, but the weather here is generally quiet, at least for the moment. And the city forecasts show fine weather for Kingston, Jamaica, showers on the horizon, but not until later on in the week. That's it for me. Thanks for watching.